This next activity that I really want to do with you is called emulate the greats. What we're going to do is we're going to not reinvent the wheel here, right? Whether you have a lot of experience with social media or not very much, what we can do is we can go out and find profiles that are really doing a good job. We're not going to copy or steal or plagiarize, but we're going to emulate the good things that they're doing. And so this way we can kind of take a shortcut to making our profile look really good. It really reminds me of an experience that I had when I was at the Louvre. If you've ever been to Paris, there's this beautiful museum, the Louvre, right? And in it, there are masterpieces, tons of masterpieces. One of the things that I didn't expect the first time I went there was to run across these beautiful little grandmas. There are always these little grandmas that are just set up in one of the hallways. They've got their canvas and their paints, and they've picked some priceless painting that they are now, recreating, right? They're practicing. And that really is the metaphor for what we want to do, which is if we can figure out the ones that are really good, and then we can kind of reverse engineer and say, okay, what made that work so well? Then you'll be able to, have a good time and be able to get where you want to go faster. So that's what we really want to talk about here is, not recreating the wheel, just really go faster. So to help you do that, I've created a tool, and it's called the Social Media Profile Audit Tool. So it's right here in this lesson. You have your worksheet that we were talking about in the last video, but then right after that worksheet is this tool. And this is a tool you can use all the time. What the Social Media Profile Audit Tool is kind of like your cheat sheet. So when you're looking at that great painting, you can make notes on the things that you really like. And so if you go out and you find a profile and it looks really good, or there's some things that you don't like, you can make some notes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take all of those findings back, and that way we have that as a mindset for tomorrow when you go in and you actually start making these updates, so we can make sure we're moving in the right direction. So your assignment in your worksheet is, let me zoom in here on this one. Your assignment on your worksheet is what we want to do is we want you to find 2 examples of insurance professionals whose social media looks pretty good. And then take note of their elements, of their profiles, using one of those social profile audit tools. Okay, so fill one out for them, for both of them. And then I would say if there's any just best practices, anything that really was like, oh yeah, I gotta make sure I do that, then here in your worksheet you can fill that out and put it right here. The second example though is I want you guys to just go ahead and look at 2 examples of sales professionals in other service industries. So maybe there's all kinds of industries out there, right? Maybe mortgage or real estate or anything like that. And other people are doing really good things too. And so just to create a little bit of diversity in your approach, get that audit profile tool, print it out maybe 6 times, and then fill it out for 2 insurance agents, for 2 realtors or mortgage brokers or, attorneys or any sort of small businesses, anything you like. And then finally, I'd like to invite you to find 2 examples of people who are professionals for a hobby or a passion that you just love. Okay, so if you think about some of your favorite things you want to do, it's always fun to see what they're up to. And the question will be, okay, what in their profile, do you find that attracts you to them, that you're like, oh wow, I really like this. I think in my example here, this is a real guy. His name's Stephen Moore. He was actually my surf instructor when I was down taking surf lessons in Southern California. And we got connected on Facebook, and I've really enjoyed, and I've learned some kind of cool things on how he communicates and builds trust. And so whenever I'm down there and I take a surf lesson, he is I call every time, because I just feel connected with him and I like him. So this is your assignment for this one. Now for some of you guys, this should be enough. You can just print out that audit tool and you can run after it. So I would say if that's fine, you can stop this video and go for it. For some of you guys, you might say, you know what, Brett, I would kind of like it if you could go through this profile audit tool with me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my computer and I'm going to walk through the process of filling this out. And then that way you can see exactly what I'm talking about in this. And if you feel that that's helpful, then I would say stay on and watch that. There's some little tips and tricks I've got in there. But the main thing is 6 times. You want to do this for 6 people, right? Now, you got a pretty big homework assignment today. And I'm not making these videos probably as short as I could. So if you don't have time to do this all today, do 2 or 3 of them in the next few days. Get these done. This is something you can do actually all the time. But the more and more you look at the social profile audit tool and you understand the things you're looking for, Then anytime you're looking around, you might just see something that you really like and you can take some notes and you can use those to make your profile more effective. So that's what we're doing from this one. Let's switch over to my computer now. And then for those of you who want to do the walkthrough, let's do that. And for the rest of you, go and just get her done, right? Okay. All right, so here we're looking at my computer screen, and you can see I've got two windows open. On the left, I've got my LinkedIn profile, and on front of that, on the right, I've got the Boss social media profile audit tool. So when we look at this tool, we can see here, again, you're going to print this out for every profile that you're going to check out, and it's going to be a way for you to be able to get some tips on what you can do for your own. So you put the name. So if we're going to look at mine, we're going to assume that you're looking at my profile. You write my name in there and you put an X on the LinkedIn, and then you're going to review the images. You're going to review the contact information, and then you're going to review some of the other sections to see how well they resonate. Are they, is it something you want to emulate or something you want to avoid? So let's just go ahead and do that for mine. How are the images? Do they capture your attention? Do they draw you in? Do any of them include a call to action? Do the main images match the look and feel of the person's other marketing? So we've got a profile image, a cover photo, and then other images. So for each of these, let's say we're looking at the profile image here. Is there anything we'd want to emulate? Is there anything we want to avoid? Okay, so things we want to emulate. Nothing in the background, very clear background, nothing distracting. That's kind of nice. I've got a smile. The data shows that a little bit of a smile or a big smile is going to be better than no smile at all. In fact, one of the things I don't like about this picture is I look kind of serious in that one. Things that you want to avoid, right? You want to avoid being bald and a little bit overweight, right? But hey, what can you do about that, right? I told my wife when we got married I looked like Jerry Seinfeld, and somehow in the last 25 years I've turned into George Costanza. But that's just, some things you can't do. But you can see here I didn't put a tie on. I do have a collar shirt on. I wanted to be a little more professional than just too casual. It's not Facebook. But at the same time, I think, I felt pretty good about that picture. So there's some things you can be overly critical about yourself, but in the most part, you guys could tell me if we were in a conference call, you might give me some feedback. But I'd say, no one's going to look at that and say, oh, that's so hideous. I can't believe I have to look at that, right? We're all harsher on ourselves than anyone else. But that looks pretty good. So here's this one here, the cover photo. Let's take a look at that one. Cover photo, it's got me in my office, working on the computer. You can see the guitar in the background. I'm a bit of a musician, so I'm letting a little bit of my personal side come out. One of the things you'll see here too is I've added this red circle with get training, see below. So this is my call to action. If people see this, I want them, look at this page, right? If you were to kind of pull your eyelids back so it was kind of blurry and you couldn't really make sense of any of the details, probably that red dot is going to be what your eye gets focused on. And so I wanted to do that on purpose. I wanted people to kind of see get training, and maybe there's a little of intrigue there. They would say, hey, maybe I'll check this out. And that's going to encourage them to look further down on the profile and see more things. Now, of course, this is my own profile, so I have all these pencils, and it kind of uglies it up a little bit. If you were looking at my profile, it might be a little bit more pronounced, the About section. And when you click this one, it's got all of the information that C training is talking about. You can read down here, and you can learn about how you can get access to my training. So call to action, other images. In the About section, you actually can add more pictures. And so when you look at this, you can see there's some pictures of me teaching, and that's what I spend most of my time doing. But at the same time, you guys might have some pictures of yourself with a client or getting an award or doing a hobby that you like. Things that are going to help show people. It's kind of that show, don't tell kind of thing. And then also for the job titles, right? For your job titles, you can actually add imagery on those too. And so you can click on those and it's going to show pictures of yourself or anything else that you want to share with people. So here's my team that I used to work with when I was at Safeco. So you can see all kinds of my history very quickly to size me up. Okay, and you think, what? Who is this guy? What's this guy all about? And so you get some information about me very quickly in one spot. So this is a really powerful thing, the imagery. Is it creating a positive moment of truth? Is it creating a negative moment of truth? I will tell you, one of the things that you're shooting for is neutral. Honestly, it's sad to say that, but a lot of times we notice bad things, but we don't notice good things, right? So for example, I do a lot of real estate investing on the side, and you'll get something and I'll spend all this work to hide something that was ugly, that was negative. And it's not that someone walks in and they say, wow, this room looks so normal. Or before they would have said, wow, this room's got an issue. So it's kind of like you're trying to create positive moments for sure, but really what you really want to do is not create you want to create positive and not negative moments. So if I didn't have a background picture here, or I didn't have a picture here, those are very clearly negative things, where having something here is going to be more positive. All right, so let's jump through this because we don't want this to take all day long. Let's look at our other items. So on the contact information, you've got your title and your headline. And so the title and headline, they're a little different in Facebook and in LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn, here it is right here. Got my headline tag. You'll notice that this goes with me. So for example, if I were to click on the home button and go back, you're going to see that right there, that headline goes with me. So this is kind of a key and an important thing that we want to make sure that we get right. And so in this one, again, looking back at our homework, okay, let's go up to the previous page. What does good look like? What is the message we're communicating? What's the emotional response? Is there a call to action? So this is what I'm looking at. I'm a social selling guide, so I'm communicating that. People always ask me, Brett, what do you do? And I thought, you know what if I put the answer to that right in my headline? I help producers amplify their superpowers to attract their ideal client. And I've written that in such a way that my hope is that it's positive, but it's also a little vague. And you're like, I kind of want to superpowers. What do you mean by that? So you're going to want to read a little bit more and create some intrigue. And then also we've got the Boss Social, which is the name of my company. That's just a good SEO tactic to put your business name in your headline tag. And so when we go down to the About section and we look more here, we're going to be able to look for more things here. That is this, if you were to read this, will it evoke any sort of emotional response as well as an informational, sharing information. All right, so let's go back and look. Let's look right here. We've got industry phone, website, all that other stuff. So what you're going to do is I want you to look at people's contact information. And you can see on mine, I've got quite a few things here. A lot of times there'll only be one item there. They haven't completed that. And so you're going to realize for yourself, oh man, if I only have nothing there, people know how to contact me. I want to make it very easy for people to reach out to me. And so you can, of course, click that pencil and you can go in and you can update things. So in your case, you might want to put your work phone number or the phone number to the secretary at the front office. You might want to put your work address in there. My business is a little different, so I don't need to put that information out there for myself. Again, tomorrow when we really get into the nuts and bolts, we'll be going through that. But today what we want to do is just get an idea of what are the things that look good. What are the things we want to emulate? Okay, and in this case, it's just finish them and avoid not finishing them. And then if we look down at the next section, does this resonate with me? Does this profile pique my interest? Could this person help me? Does it provide a path for me to follow? What is my next step? So hopefully a good profile is going to answer those questions. And when you look at the introduction, the about, the recommendations, and the posts and the articles, they're going to be working towards that goal. So if you're playing golf and the object is to hit to the flag, what's your flag? Your flag is to communicate some of those things. And so my hope would be that if someone read this, if they go and they read this, then connect with Brett here on LinkedIn to get acquainted. Okay, so I'm creating an invitation. Here's a path. If you want to get to know me, connect with me here. Or if you want to reach out so we can talk social selling, or reach out. Or then I just say, hey, you can actually check out my website. So I've got a couple of different degrees, right? I kind of say, if you want to go on a first date, you want to go on a second date, then I'm giving you those options right up front, right? I'm not saying, hey, I'm here to sell you insurance. I'm not saying, hey, you look nice. Can I put a ring on your finger? I'm not going straight to the end goal. I'm recognizing that the job of this employee right here, this LinkedIn employee, his job is to get me first dates. His job is to get people into my pool, into my LinkedIn sphere of influence, so I can then, over time, through the other things I share, for example, the post, the activity, the things like this, all this kind of stuff, and I look at these posts and things like that, then this is content that hopefully is going to help people strengthen the relationship, to feel more comfortable, right? In this example here, I say, what would your phone say in its next group therapy session? Sharing the comment to help me come up with the best caption for my upcoming speaking gig. And in it, I have some phones. This is a little cartoon I made. It says, I'm so confused. He says he loves her, but he always reaches for me before he ever kisses her good morning. and it's just talking about this concept of our addiction to phones. So you can see I've got some views on this. So these kinds of things, this is the marination that I'm going to create once I get people into my sphere. I'm going to share things with them that's going to help them feel comfortable around me and help them, have opportunities to talk and answer questions and things like that. So there's different kinds of content we can have here. And the question is, are you putting it on there? So when you look at this stuff, what's your response? And if you see something you really like, again, that's what this is for. Write down a note so you can go ahead and do that. The last thing I'm going to share with you on my profile is, and again, we'll go into this not so much tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, we're really going to get into this, and that is the power of recommendations. So when you're thinking about creating an emotional response with someone or communicating things, social proof is so powerful. When other people say nice things about you, it's just really hard to beat that. And so when I look at all of the recommendations that I've garnished from people, this is a really powerful thing. So for example, here's my 3 teammates from when I worked at Safeco, right? Nick, Stacy, and Dale. These guys are awesome. They're rock stars, and it was really nice that they were willing to give me a recommendation. But they're also in the same space as I am. And so let's say you don't know me, someone referred you, and you're thinking, oh, maybe this Brett Allen guy can help me. And so you're checking someone out, and you say, oh, well, I know Dale, or I know Stacy. Then you can see what they said about me, and that's going to increase your comfort level. Or you might even reach out to that person saying, hey, Stacy, I noticed on LinkedIn you're connected with Brett. Tell me more about this guy. Is he really, the real deal? And you're going to see this more and more, that if you can get other local service industry professionals, realtors and lawyers and attorneys and school teachers and the local sheriff and all these kinds of people to give you recommendations on your LinkedIn, then other people in your market are going to probably know them, and that's going to strengthen their comfort level in having that relationship with you. So these are really important, right? Not just for someone to say nice things to you, but for them to see that you're a part of a community. Also, if I'm in, let's say I was in it focused on technology, writing technology insurance, and I was focused on writing technology, and I connected with a lot of the technology professionals within my market, right? Maybe I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia market. So I connect with a lot of the people there. And if I can get some of them to give me some endorsements, in the section above, right in here, or recommendations, then that's going to increase my visibility within that space. So there's, if I'm going to go talk to a company and about securing their insurance needs, and they check me out on LinkedIn and see that I'm already connected with a whole lot of other technology related businesses in that area, and some of those people have even given me recommendations. Now this is an employee that's working hard for me. My LinkedIn is a good employee, and they're increasing the probability of positive moments of truth. So again, these are the kinds of things that we're looking for with this social media profile audit tool. Please don't skip this step, okay? Go in and find at least 2 examples of insurance professionals. Go find 2 examples of other professionals in the service industry, maybe some of your clients. And then go ahead and look at other professionals, people who just have a passion that maybe you share just because it's fascinating. In this example, I've got a pro surfer who was actually my surf instructor when I was down in Del Mar, California. We got connected on Facebook, and I try to connect with him when I go down there to have him help me out a little bit. But what's fun is I get to see the way he's using social media in a little bit different industry, but I've garnished some cool ideas from him. All right, so this is taking a little bit longer than I wanted, so I'm just going to go ahead and I want to show you one more thing here as an example. So let me just jump over. This is Sean Aker. He is an author, works at the Harvard. If you've ever read his books on happiness, he's just fascinating. But what you can see here is if I'm checking him out, I'm going to see what he's about, and I can click in here and I can see, is there a call to action? He is. He does have a, now I know where to go learn more about him. And then if I go down, here's something that's featured. When it comes to his activity, I can come in here and I can see again everything that he's posted. So if I want to check him out, I can see what he's been doing. I also can see all activity, which means I can see what he's been liking and commenting on. And of course, I really like the articles. So when I look at his articles, I can see what he's posted, and this is going to give me some information to learn more about him. Again, we're taking our awesomeness and we're putting it out there on the internet for people to see without them having to actually have a conversation with us. So your LinkedIn is praising your name 24/7, 365 days a year to increase the probability that people will have trust and reach out to you and do all those things. So that's what we want to do with this. Go ahead and make a couple mental notes if you need to. Pause the video, and then we're going to jump right back to the training here next. So there you have it, the social profile audit tool. Very powerful, very simple, but very powerful. And so I would say moving forward, right, definitely do it for the assignment today and get these 6 done. But moving forward from time to time, you know, one of the things you're going to schedule in your weekly exercises by the end of this program is, you know what, I'm going to look at least 1 or 2 profiles a week, and it's going to be this ongoing thing that's going to help you to really get a really good sense of what you like and what works really well. So do that, and then we got one more video for you, one more activity. The next activity, I promise, it's pretty short, and I think you're gonna like it. It's kind of a fun one to really get your head around how to make sure you look great online.